within like 3 months he had done 1.1 cr. There are also people who've literally just started out and on like the third day they've made 80,000 rupees. You don't need to know any coding, you don't need to know any graphic design experience. I sell stuff online and I teach people how to sell stuff online.
So, what are some strategies you have used?
When I started out, I used to have like a salary of like 30,000 rupees a month, and after a point I was making 30,000 rupees a day. People are like literally sort of escaping the matrix, becoming millionaires overnight. Most common mistake I'll tell you what people make is there's four basics, right? Four main pillars of e-commerce that you need to figure out and learn, right? So first is so when it comes to giving you a strategy, I would say,
is it possible to make a crore a month?
If you're starting out today, I would say.
Welcome back to Sanskar show. आज के एपिसोड में आई एम टॉकिंग टू एन ई-कॉमर्स एंटरप्रेन्योर. उन्होंने मुझे बताया हाउ he's made massive amounts of money, 45 lakhs, 60 lakhs, even a crore in about 40 to 60 days. He spilled all his secrets and he even told me how someone in college right now can replicate that process. Having said that, it's not a get rich quick scheme. आपको उस वीडियो को पूरा देखना पड़ेगा. तुषार ने जो लर्निंग शेयर करी हैं, एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर करे हैं, उसको आप नोट डाउन करेंगे, अप्लाई करेंगे. Only then you can expect similar results. And one more thing, I'm on a mission to hit 100k subscribers on this channel in the next 6 months, and uske liye I need all your help. If you have ever enjoyed any of my videos and learned something from them, please hit that button. It helps me bring on bigger guests and bring you ton of value. Without wasting any time, I am Sanskar and you're watching The Sanskar Show. So for today's discussion, our main topic is, let's say people watching us are 23, 24-year-olds, and let's assume they are making 15k, 20k a month, and they want to start a side hustle and make extra income by selling products online. So we'll try to give them a proper roadmap, proper mental models of how they can start and scale their side hustle. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good, absolutely.
Perfect. So
Cool.
firstly,
Yeah.
tell me, Tushar, like how practical is it for someone with no experience, no background to sell products online?
See, it's after all, it's a business, and even if you dive down a little deeper, right, it's essentially just a new skill that you're learning, right? So every like learning business is essentially learning two, three different skills at the same time, right? So and anyone can learn any skill if they dedicate enough time to it. Simply put, right? So you want to learn, how to play badminton really well, just play it for a month and you'll keep getting good at it. Just like that, you want to sell products online, sell enough products online and you get good at it eventually, right? So that's just the core of it, essentially, not looking at it as if it's practical for someone or not. As humans, it's just a skill and it's practical for literally everyone to dive deep into.
Hmm. So, what are the
Yeah.
essential aspects of selling products, like finding a product, running
Hmm.
ads? Are there any other
Right.
things as well?
Absolutely. So there's four basics, right? Four
Hmm.
main pillars of e-commerce that you need to figure out and learn, right? So first is actually finding a product to sell. Second is building a website to sell it on. Third is running the ads to get the orders, and the fourth is shipping your orders to your customers. These are the four basics, and after that, of course, there's customer service, there's email marketing, there's operations management. All of that comes into play a little bit later, but these are the four foundational basics, I would say.
Hmm. So, let's go step by step. Let's talk about product.
Yeah.
How do I,
Right.
someone as an average person, find a product that
Right.
will do well?
Right. So, see, the easiest way for a beginner to find a product to sell is essentially not reinvent the wheel, just sell what's already selling in the market, right? That's the easiest way to get into e commerce, because even if you go on Amazon today or on Flipkart today and you search for, I don't know, let's say like a mic that you need as a content creator, you'll find the same mic being sold by like maybe 100 different sellers, right? So, they're all doing the same thing. The fact is that the market is so big that multiple sellers can coexist in the market and get a good chunk of the pie as well, right? So finding a product essentially starts from doing market research on the channels that you currently already shop on, right? So let's say if you're somebody who's ever bought anything off of an Instagram ad, like let's say, I bought this t-shirt off an Instagram ad, right? So essentially what you want to do is, whenever you get an ad for something, this is the easiest way, and the way that I've been using for 6+ years to find products to sell is, whenever you get an ad where something is being sold to you, interact with that ad as much as you can. Like that ad, comment on it, save it, go to the advertiser's website, add that product to cart. You don't have to buy it, just add it to cart, so that Facebook thinks that you're a potential buyer, right? And it starts showing you more and more ads like that. It's just like, when you go to, let's say, make my trip to book a flight, then you suddenly start getting vacation ads, because they track everything. They have all the data, and they track literally everything. So what you want to do is, you want to show Facebook, you want to show Instagram that, hey, I'm a potential buyer, you want to show me more and more products. So that is the easiest way. A couple of more ways are essentially just going onto Amazon, going into different categories, and they have these newest added sections, right? So whatever the newer products that are getting added there, which are getting good reviews as well, you can start going there and start sort of scraping that data. So these are the two basic ways. There's, of course, like, there's different ways, there's different spy tools as well that you can use, which essentially spy on other advertisers Facebook ads, and that's completely like legal and practical, just to throw it out there, because Facebook automatically is required by law to show every advertiser's ads to everyone publicly. So, and one of the best ways to view those ads is something called Facebook ads library. So Facebook literally gives you a separate website where you can go and literally check any ad that's being run by any advertiser. So if I want to see what new shoe did Nike launch in the past 7 days, I can literally go to Facebook ads library, search for
Yeah.
Nike, filter their past 7 days ads, and I'll see whatever they've started.
Okay. So have you
Yeah.
seen certain product categories that will do well, like they are bound to fail very rarely?
Yes, of course. See, what we call, those are called evergreen categories, right, in the business,
Okay.
essentially. And I will say, like, the top five, if I had to pick, is pain relief products,
Okay.
pets, kids, fashion, of course, and electronics. These five are
Hmm.
sort of evergreen products. These are things that will keep getting sold over and over, because they do become obsolete after a point of time, and people always want the newer version. People want the better version, and everyone,
Right.
likes the new stuff. So yeah.
Hmm. So if I identify a product, let's say a mic, now how do I
Right.
go about finding a supplier and all that stuff?
Right. So, finding a supplier is pretty easy. There's one website called indiamart.com, which is like a whole
Hmm.
repository of Indian suppliers. So if you go there and search for wireless mic for content creators, it's just like Amazon but of wholesale suppliers. And they
Right.
literally just give you their phone number. It's free to use completely. You don't even
Hmm.
need to make an account for that matter. So you can just go on to IndiaMart. That's the best way. Of course, you can do a quick Google search if you want to, and if something's not available here, you can always import it from China. You can go to Alibaba, you can talk to any of these suppliers that you actually find on IndiaMart, and they'll actually
Right.
import the stuff for you. But as a beginner, I obviously don't recommend going ahead and starting importing products, but
Hmm.
IndiaMart is the best way. There's also some newer apps these days which help you source all of these products. So if you make let's say a Shopify account to a Shopify website, you can
Hmm.
actually download these apps where you can actually just connect it to your Shopify store, and they will source and ship the product for you, like, directly.
Okay. As a beginner, like what is a good amount or a good number of pieces I can invest in the inventory?
Whenever you start, see, what we do is, so all of these units are sold by the carton, right? So a
Hmm.
carton can have 50 units, it can have 60 units, it can have 100 units, right? So
Hmm.
whichever supplier is ready to give you the lowest MOQ, you just go with them.
Okay.
So even
Okay.
50 units, if you can buy of
Hmm.
let's say I don't know, like 50 rupee product or like 100 rupee
Hmm.
product, that's
Hmm.
just like 2,500 5,000 rupees, which is not a
Hmm.
huge amount. And that's enough to play around with, because once you get 50 orders, you can easily make a guided choice whether this is a good product or not. So you
Hmm.
don't really have to invest a lot of money in the beginning.
Hmm. So far we talked about finding the product, which can be done by
Yeah.
like simply
IndiaMart,
interacting
yeah.
with Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and then finding
Yes.
a supplier by going on IndiaMart.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly, exactly.
Now the
Yeah.
next step is building a website. So as
Yeah.
a average person, as a layman who doesn't know about websites, how can I do that?
Hmm. Okay, so website, so e-commerce is, like, for me at least, or even all of the e-commerce industry, they'll use this one website which is called Shopify. Everyone's
Hmm.
familiar with Shopify. They're a huge company now, worth billions of dollars, and they
Right.
got that big because of one simple reason, is because they actually made e-commerce beginner friendly, like e-commerce
Hmm.
website building beginner friendly. You don't need to know any coding, you don't need to know any graphic design experience, you really don't need anything. It's essentially just creating an account. And even if you're a little bit tech savvy, which, like, 23, 24 year olds,
Hmm.
everyone is, like,
Right.
if you're using Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're using, if you are tech
Hmm.
savvy with it, it's pretty normal, right? You'll go there, you'll make an account, you'll see, okay, this is my theme editor. I'll go drag and drop. Oh, I want my logo here, I want the
Hmm.
product information here, I want the price to show up here, I want the
Hmm.
description here, if I'm selling clothes, I want the size guide here. And that's it. It's literally drag and drop. There's not a lot of mental gymnastics involved in, like building a
Hmm.
website these days. So
Right.
yeah, it's pretty easy. Plus, of course, you can just head over to YouTube, watch a simple tutorial, from
Ah.
Shopify itself, or there's
Right.
thousands of creators.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty easy. It's nothing. There's no rocket science anymore. Building a website
Yeah.
used to be like a hassle. You used to pay people, get people on board to do
Hmm.
this, manage all your stuff. No,
Right.
not at all. I started it and I learned everything off of YouTube. So I like wholeheartedly
Hmm.
believe everyone else can as well.
Hmm. Is website an only way to sell your products, or like you can do something like an Instagram page to
You
sort of?
could, but a website is the easiest way to scale, first of all, because on an Instagram, let's say you're trying to sell something off of having conversations in your DMs with your customers,
Hmm.
right? What if you want to sell 1,000 units a day? Will you have 1,000 conversations? You can't do that.
Hmm.
It's simply not feasible to scale. You can
Right.
start off with that, but even if you want to run ads, especially when it comes to running ads, you
Hmm.
do need a website because you want Facebook to track what people are doing on your website so you can make future
Hmm.
decisions. If you can
Hmm.
track that,
Okay.
okay, 100 people added my product to the cart, but only, like let's say two people purchased, so you can say, okay, I have a 2% conversion rate, maybe I can increase it. All of this
Hmm.
to do manually on Instagram through DMs is very, very difficult. Like, how many
Hmm.
conversations are you going to have? So it's just a way to
Right.
streamline it and, just make it easy. Plus it's
Hmm.
actually so cheap because a Shopify account right now costs like 20 rupees a month. So it's
Okay.
literally nothing, right? So for the
Ah.
first 3 months only, but still 3 months is a
Hmm.
long enough time for you to figure out, and you can always,
Correct.
create new stores at 20 rupees. So I think website is, I would definitely say, it's important.
Hmm. So I feel the most important part of selling products online is running your ads. Like that's the
Absolutely.
main essential part.
Nothing. Exactly. You got to put the right product in front of the right eyes. It's simple as that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
advertising is the sort of main skill that you need to learn in any kind of e-commerce business, right?
Hmm.
So even if, like, I'm not very experienced with Amazon or Flipkart or this portal selling, but even on
Hmm.
these platforms you have to do some sort of advertising within their platforms itself, right? So your listing shows up on top. So there's always a little bit of a learning curve. But when it comes to D2C, which is your direct to consumer, if you're running a Shopify store of your own, it takes a little bit more skill. It takes a little bit more time
Ah.
to learn how, first of all, because with Facebook ads or Google ads or what, any sort of advertising platform, there are so many different moving parts that you need to figure out how the whole machine works together. You'll need
Hmm.
to tell Facebook that, okay, I want sales. Then you need to tell Facebook what kind of people do you want to target. If you only want to target women aged from, let's say, 20 to 40,
Hmm.
and you only want to target people within India, within a particular city, so you need to direct Facebook in order to get those purchases. And again, there's a lot of moving parts that you need to understand about how the
Hmm.
algorithm works. How the algorithm actually shows your ads to people. You need to first figure that out. And once
Right.
you know that, then it becomes like a much easier game. So
Hmm.
that's, I would say, it's definitely the main part that you need to learn about.
So how can I start learning about ads? Like, are there some courses, YouTube videos?
Yeah, I mean, I have my course of my own. So I have a
Okay.
whole community. So our community is already, 3,000 plus people within our community. So our
Hmm.
whole course is designed regarding exactly this. So
Okay.
like we teach you how to, find the products, like 15 different methods of finding products. There's a whole, tutorial on Shopify website designing, literally me sharing my screen, going step by step. This is that, this is
Hmm.
that. Then there's a whole Facebook training module that we do. So it's an 80-hour plus course. Like you need to invest some time, of course, because there's so
Hmm.
much that you need to learn.
Right.
And then of course we show you how to ship your orders and this. And so there's, of course, there's, and it's not just my course, there's a lot of different courses out there. Not just to say that buy mine, just start
Mhm.
learning. If you
Right.
really want to get into it, I think, see, when I started off, there was not a lot of people doing such courses, sort of
Hmm.
amalgamating all of this knowledge in one place. So in those
Right.
times, like if I started back in 2017, 2018,
Hmm.
you had to go to YouTube and find different resources and compile your own knowledge base. But
Correct.
now there's so many, different courses and communities that you can join, which is like a kickstarting point, because you learn everything in one place, and
Hmm.
especially from people who've already done it, and they've
Correct.
seen some sort of success with it. So it's not just a hit and trial for you. You get, like, you get some hand holding, you get some, like a clear path on this is what needs to be done. So yeah,
Hmm.
of course, YouTube is a great place, but I would say investing in a mentor is a little more uh, sort of, it's a little more feasible when you want to get a kickstart. If you have enough time, if you want to do it slowly and steadily,
Right.
by all means YouTube is definitely the best place.
Hmm.
You'll not find any, sort of knowledge bank like YouTube. But if you want a kickstart, invest in a mentor, and you'll definitely be on your way.
So, what are some strategies you have used to, drive visibility or traffic to your websites?
See, for me, it's always been ads. It's,
Hmm.
we don't really focus a lot on brand building from the start. Because see,
Hmm.
I'll tell you what happens is, and I'm sure you must have seen this if you're in a little bit of a, business circle, or, entrepreneurial circle even.
Right.
Like, let's say a friend, he or she would say that, hey, I want to start a business, I want to
Hmm.
start, let's say, a clothing brand. So they'll go ahead, they'll buy their domain name, they'll build
Ah.
their website really pretty, they'll
Hmm.
get those, 5-10 designs, they'll buy some inventory, they'll make sure everything is spick and span, they'll start an Instagram page, they'll post
Right.
content, they'll post reels, they'll do
Hmm.
all of this hard work without having any sort of proof of concept that their business is going to take off. So
Hmm.
we completely bypass that step, that hey, we'll first run the ads, we'll sort of force the ads onto the audience and see if they react. If they do react, then yes, then we'll start doing this brand building step by step in
Hmm.
conjunction with running ads. We don't want to do it that hey, हमने एड्स चला दिए एक दिन, उसके बाद हमने देख लिया यार चलो डिमांड है, अब हम ना रील्स पोस्ट करेंगे, कंटेंट बनाएंगे, हम एक साल तक मेहनत करेंगे, कोई एड्स पे पैसा नहीं खर्चेंगे, ऑर्गेनिक सेल्स लाएंगे. That
Hmm.
strategy unfortunately does not work in this day and age, because there's always going to be somebody doing it better than you,
Hmm.
or doing just more of it than you. If I have been running, if I am starting a new brand today, a clothing brand, and
Hmm.
you've been running a clothing brand for a year, your content output will anyway be much higher than mine, that there is no way for me to stand out, there is no way for
Right.
me to catch up as a beginner. The
Right.
only sort of leverage that you have in those cases is pouring some money into ads which give you instant visibility to the kind of audience that you want.
Hmm.
So that way I would say, like, that's the stepping stone that you want to go to, like, go for ads directly. Like, people
Right.
are a little, people, what my point here is that sometimes entrepreneurs and, beginners, they invest in the wrong things. They'll invest in
Hmm.
inventory instead of ads. They'll
Hmm.
invest
Okay.
in getting a good designer for their website rather than, investing in some market research. So
Hmm.
investing in the right places as a beginner, and I'm not even talking like heavy investments. Even
Hmm.
if you're spending your first 10,000 rupees, don't
Hmm.
spend it on your first carton of clothes, spend it on running ads
Hmm.
for a product that you think might take off. Test your
Okay.
products. If you're
Hmm.
selling 20 products, 20 designs, how do you
Hmm.
know which one's going to sell well? You can't just sit around
Hmm.
and wait for 6 months for your SEO to kick in, for your,
Correct.
blogs to get you traffic, and then figure out
Correct.
okay, okay, 6 mahine pe. And you know how most of these industries work, like the products life cycles are not very long.
Hmm.
Something that you
Correct.
start selling on month 1 will be obsolete by month 6.
Hmm.
Somebody else would have run ads for it and taken over the market, and you're nowhere to be seen. Simple as
Hmm.
that. So it's a competitive market for sure, because the barrier to entry is so low. Anyone can make an
Hmm.
ad account tomorrow on Facebook and start running ads.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, are we talking about Facebook ads only or Google ads, Instagram ads, everything?
See, my expertise is in Facebook and Instagram ads, meta ads for
Hmm.
short,
Hmm. Hmm.
essentially.
Hmm.
So Google ads
Okay.
also is a great way. Now, there's a
Hmm.
little bit of a distinction in Google ads and Google/YouTube ads versus Facebook/Instagram ads.
Ah, correct.
Google is a intent based search platform, right? If I'm
Hmm.
going on Google and I'm searching for something, that means I have the intent to look for it
Hmm.
already, right?
Hmm.
So if you're searching for a mic and I show you a mic, it's much easier for me to get a sale, right?
Right.
That's just how it works. But the
Hmm.
limitation with that is that there's not enough people searching for a particular thing at a particular time, right? And
Hmm.
if they are, then obviously other advertisers are already targeting those keywords.
Hmm.
With Facebook and Instagram, it's an interruption based marketing. You're on your
Hmm.
phone, you're on your Instagram watching cat videos and music videos, and suddenly I show you an ad for a mic or a piece of clothing. I'm interrupting your flow, right? I'm
Hmm.
interrupting your pattern. So
Hmm.
that way it's a little different, and the benefit of that is that the market is essentially limitless for you, because
Hmm.
you're not waiting around for somebody to search for a particular thing, you're just forcing it on their feeds just by
Hmm.
spending money. So that way. And but obviously the con is that the intent is much lesser.
Yeah.
So of course, so Facebook and Google, that way they're both a little bit different, and you can choose whichever one you want to go for. I like to
Hmm.
go for Facebook and Instagram because first I've only learned that in the past 6 years. I know a little bit of
Right.
Google ads, but I wouldn't call myself an expert by any means. I actually
Hmm.
hire people to run my Google ads. So
Okay.
I prefer Facebook and Instagram because
Hmm.
I know that the scale is essentially limitless. In
Hmm.
Google, you sometimes bound by scale. That's what happens.
Abhi, you
Yeah.
mentioned that let's say someone wants to invest 10,000 rupees, they should
Yeah.
invest it carefully. So, what should be
Yeah.
an ideal split of that? Like, what should you invest in and how much should you be doing?
See, whenever you start a business, I would say, especially if you want to, run ads, I would say have a buffer of 30 to 50,000 rupees with you, first of all.
Okay.
Even if you're starting out at small scale, I think 30, 50,000 rupees is manageable if you're starting a business, even if it's two people, 25,000 rupees each.
Right.
It's a doable amount. And frankly, you need that much if you want to get
Hmm.
into business. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very
Okay.
difficult. Right.
Okay.
And when it comes to the split, I would say give at least 70% of the split to your marketing activities, which
Okay.
might be running ads, which might be posting content, whatever.
Hmm.
It's about getting the word out. It's the marketing is 95% of any business.
Right.
Tomorrow I want to sell a teacup to somebody. Selling is the hardest part. I can find 1,000
Hmm.
suppliers to give me a teacup, right? But it's just that how do I sell it to somebody else? How do I make sure that somebody is convinced enough to part with their money to get my exact teacup? So
Correct.
I would say 70% for show marketing you should be focusing on, because that's the
Hmm.
crux of the business. As they say, sales cure any business. So any
Hmm.
dying business can be cured by sales, and you only get sales when you do marketing.
Hmm. So you mentioned ki at least have 30K or 50K and then
Yeah,
start your business, right? So once
absolutely.
you scale, once you start getting sales,
Yeah,
how can you
yeah.
scale? Like what should be your investment level and how should you increase your investments to
Right.
continue with that demand?
See, ideally, what you want to happen is that you simply reinvest your profits. You never really invest more of your own money.
Hmm.
You always
Okay.
reinvest the profits. Where it comes to actually scaling and investing more of your money is that, so that's the kind of beauty of it, is that let's say you start with 50,000 rupees, okay? You
Right.
start seeing results. Let's say you're spending 50,000 and you're making 1 lakh back, and you're still at break even. Let's say not even making any profits. 50,000 rupees you spent on marketing, you get 1 lakh rupees in sales. The rest of the 50,000 you maybe spent in your inventory, you spent in your operations, on your team, or this that, you broke even, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to start, let's say even after that you start making a 10% profit, okay? Just a 10% profit, you reinvest that into your ads.
Okay.
Everything goes back into your marketing and advertising to get the volume of orders.
Hmm.
That's where reinvesting has to be done majorly. But when it comes to putting in your own money, you'll only have to do that when you want to buy more inventory, and you'll only be in a position to buy more inventory when you're getting good orders, right? Simple as that.
Right.
You won't be investing in more inventory if it's not
Hmm.
working out. So that
Hmm.
it's sort of like a catch 22, where you only actually have to invest when you want to scale, if it's doing well for you. Otherwise you
Right.
won't be investing in that at all, right? So
Right.
that's why the initial investment is always for marketing, because once you start getting the sales, you get the confidence and you get the money to actually reinvest in your business.
Hmm. So let's do one thing. Let's say I have
Yeah.
10,000 rupees and I want to
Yeah.
try it out and see if I
Hmm.
can sell products online. So, with your
Right.
experience, can you suggest me a product in this range that can do
Right.
well? And how can I sort of
Of course.
strategize to be successful?
Hmm. See, I would say 10,000 rupees a little on the low end. Like I said,
Hmm.
like 30 to 50K is a good
Hmm.
mark. Now,
Hmm.
that's not to say you can't find success in that. You can. It's
Hmm.
just that the surface area of your luck is a little lower on that
Okay.
side. Because when it comes to advertising and marketing, I'll be very frank, it's a skill, it's a business at the end of the day, but
Hmm.
luck plays its own part as well.
Hmm.
You can be, because everything in the market is about timing. Let's say a
Right.
product is getting sold, uh, let's say somebody's selling a product is going really really viral, and
Hmm.
2 months later you decide, okay, I also want to sell it, I've seen it everywhere on the internet, but
Huh.
you're too late.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, let's say you try to sell this pen which has never been sold before, and you
Hmm.
try to sell it and it just doesn't work out. That means you're too
Hmm.
early. So you
Right.
want to be entering the market at the right time, right? When a
Hmm.
product has just taken off, you catch that trend right before it
Hmm.
takes off, and you make the money off of it. you know
Hmm.
so when it comes to giving you a strategy, I would say start with, heading over to, like I said, Facebook ads library. Search
Hmm.
for, keywords like shop now, buy now, get yours for 50% off. That's going to show
Right.
you a lot of the ads that have recently been launched where people are trying to sell something, you know
Hmm.
once you figure out that, hey, I'm seeing, and just scroll for like an hour, okay, and like
Hmm.
make a Google sheet, see what kind of products you see, how many ads do you
Right.
see it for. Once
Hmm.
you see three or more advertisers selling the same product, maybe through different videos, maybe somebody's using an image, you just figure out that, okay, this product is being sold by three different people right now. Then
Hmm.
you head over to India Mart, you search for that product name. Let's take
Right.
our mic for example. Search
Hmm.
for, okay, wireless mic for creators. You
Hmm.
find five different suppliers. So now you know that retail suppliers are three. I already saw three advertisers on Facebook. There's five different suppliers for it. So clearly this product is in the market right now. You
Hmm.
give these five suppliers a call and you simply just ask them, okay, भैया ये प्रोडक्ट बिक रहा है क्या आजकल,
हाँ.
लोग बेच रहे हैं इसको, ऑनलाइन खरीद रहे हैं आपसे. जस्ट सिंपली
Hmm.
आस्क देम एंड दे विल टेल यू द
Hmm.
ट्रूथ. दे विल लाइक, हाँ बिक रहा है,
Correct.
सिंपल एज दैट,
Correct.
बिकॉज दे वांट अ पोटेंशियल कस्टमर एज वेल. So, like I said, once you call up these IndiaMart suppliers, you then have a second layer of validation, right? You
Hmm.
know that product is being sold on Facebook ads. Now the suppliers has told you that yes, it's being sold, right? So,
Hmm.
and one keyword that you can use to ask is that, okay, ड्रॉप शिपर्स बेच रहे हैं इसको या नहीं. सो ड्रॉप शिपिंग इज एसेंशियली द
Okay.
वर्ड दैट यू वांट टू यूज, द कीवर्ड दैट यू वांट टू यूज, बिकॉज ड्रॉप शिपिंग is a sort of business model where you don't buy any inventory, and people,
Correct.
the suppliers essentially ship the product directly to your customers, right?
Hmm.
So if you ask them कि आपके पास आजकल कोई ड्रॉप शिपर्स आपसे ये प्रोडक्ट खरीद रहे हैं, and they say yes,
Hmm.
then you
Hmm.
know for sure that that product is taking off, right?
Hmm.
Then
Okay.
next step is building your Shopify store. Once
Hmm.
again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just find, look for that product keyword on Google. So let's say wireless mic for creators, and you
Right.
type plus Shopify after that. So what it's going to do is it's going to show us Shopify websites that are selling that product, right? Then what you want to do is you want to go to one of the competitors' websites, which looks really, really nice. Copy the whole thing, put it into Chat GPT, and just ask it to reword it. So you're not
Hmm.
plagiarizing
Right.
anyone's work. You go to
Right.
Chat GPT and you make your own Shopify store and simply just paste all of that into that. So your
Hmm.
product page is ready to sell. You know
Hmm.
and as for the pictures, you can find pictures online anywhere. Most of the times the suppliers will provide you with the pictures as well, so you can simply just
Okay.
ask them that, hey, do you have these product pictures or product shots? If you
Hmm.
don't, order a sample of Amazon very quickly. Click a few pictures with your iPhone or any sort of good camera that you have. Go
Hmm.
into one of the AI apps, ask it to remove the background, and just replace the background with a nice looking studio background so it looks professional, right? So again, all of it is mostly free. If anything, you'll probably pay like 500,000 rupees for the product and one of those AI services, right? So then your website is ready. Next thing you want to do is run the ads for it. Now, when you're starting to run the ads for it, you want some videos, you want some pictures. Most of it, once again, you'll find online. Even on Facebook ads library, you'll find all of the videos that you already need, and you'll see that everyone's sort of using each other's videos. Now what happens is that these videos are not anybody's property. These are essentially, people hire people on like Fiverr or Upwork to create these videos for them, and then people usually just end up copying each other. Now let me be very frank and clear and give you a disclaimer that you should not be doing that. You should always have your own original creatives. But when you're starting out, of course it's much harder to invest into product photo shoots and videos and this and that when you don't know something's gonna work. So you can find these online clips, make sure they're copyright free, in some way or another, using some Google tools, or
Hmm.
using YouTube tools. So you can find these copyright free videos and actually start running the ads. So when you're running the ads, you can simply put in 2000 rupees in Facebook just to test on, let's say, three or four different videos of how much of a response you're going to get. Maybe you see a lot of website visitors, you'll see people adding your product to the cart, you'll see
Right.
people purchase it as well. So that's the easiest way to sort of get, I mean, this was very concisely put. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
caveats to it as well. So once that's done, you have your initial idea of if a product is going to sell or not. It's pretty
Hmm.
much, that's the roadmap.
So essentially, what I've understood it's an ads business, and if you're good
It
at ads,
is,
you
yes.
can sell any number of products, right?
Absolutely. See, if you, it's just what they say in the sales community, right? If you're good at
Hmm.
sales, you can sell anything to anyone. It's as
Right.
simple as that. So
Right.
it is an ads business at the end of the day. Any e-commerce business is an ads business,
Hmm.
because the cost of acquiring your customer is the only real cost you have to incur at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So at a particular time, can an individual sell multiple products as well?
Absolutely. Of
What
course.
do you
You see, it's
suggest? Like,
all relative to your budget. It's all relative to your
hmm,
budget. If you only
hmm,
have 10,000 rupees, I won't recommend you starting to test out five different products at the same time because you'll exhaust your
correct,
budget in one day. You know,
correct.
but if you do have a little bit of, like breathing room with your budget, definitely go for it. And it's, in fact, it's a little better because you get to compare different products metrics with each another, like, so you
Hmm,
have more data. So because if you're just running one product, you might see that, hey, this product, you don't know if it did well or not just looking at its own metrics. But if you
right.
have something to compare it to, you'll always get a better idea.
Can you share like a product that did well for you, and like how did you find it, and eventually how much sales did you made with that? Like, if you can share.
Absolutely. So this was back in 2018 when I was just starting out. So this was just it was a necklace for women, So it
Hmm,
was just a
okay.
quirky necklace, and instead of a pendant, it had like a cute like wine bottle and a glass on it. So like
Hmm,
just like a quirky necklace that might wanna give to somebody who enjoys like a glass of wine.
right.
So it was just a quirky necklace, and we ended up doing, I think, about and I was selling this in the US at that time. So all in
Hmm.
all, I think we ended up doing somewhere about $500,000 with it in the first like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, so it was a
Wow.
pretty hit product, and we sold that for like a couple of years.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Tushar, do you also feel that with this business, customer service is of little importance to you?
No, absolutely
No.
not. Because see,
Okay.
customer service is definitely, it has to, like I said, there are four pillars of e-commerce.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
there had to be a fifth pillar, it is customer experience.
Hmm.
And it's not
Okay.
even customer service. Like I said, I try to use the word customer experience because you want the
Experience.
whole experience to be nice, not
Hmm.
just the after sales.
Hmm.
Even when they're ordering. So what we do in our business, whenever we get an order, we'll call that customer within 24 hours that, hey, you ordered this product on our website. Do you actually want it? Can you confirm your address? What that
Hmm.
does is, first of all,
Okay.
it gives some sort of faith into the customer that, hey, I've never heard of this new website or brand, I've bought something from them. And
Hmm.
just giving them a manual call builds that little bit of a relationship with the customer. Within
Hmm.
24 hours, if you're getting a call from a new brand, you'll be like, okay, I've not lost my money or just spent it on a random brand that's never going to deliver anything. Because that does
Right.
happen. These scams like this are very normal in like
Hmm.
markets like a COD market especially.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
scams like these
Correct.
happen, but just to build that relationship. And second thing, that what it does is it confirms the order for you. Because sometimes what happens is, since we are in a cash economy, right, it's a cash
Hmm.
market, people will order these products, and then when it comes time to deliver those products, they simply just don't accept them. They'll be like, oh, हमसे गलती से
Okay.
order हो गया था, we don't want it anymore, हमने Amazon पे सस्ता ढूंढ लिया, whatever. They could have n
Hmm.
number of reasons. But if you've given them that call, it builds that relationship, and it also lets them know that, hey, you will get your product within 4 to 5 days, so they won't go anywhere else looking for it.
Hmm.
So it's
Okay.
like a win-win situation. So in
Hmm.
that sense, customer experience is very important. And of course, if something goes wrong post the order, they want to return it, they want to exchange it, they want to refund it, you obviously
Right.
have to comply with your refund policy, whatever policy
Hmm.
you have in place. And that's
Hmm.
totally up to you to decide what you want
Hmm.
your policy to be like. So it's totally up to you. But yeah, customer experience is absolutely important.
Abhinay, you mentioned that there are a lot of scams in this industry.
Yeah.
So, I, as a
Yeah.
seller, how can I make sure
Right.
that my customer gets a sense of
Hmm.
trust from my end?
Right. See, like I said, the the more human touch points you can give your customer
Hmm.
is best for your business, because that builds faith and relationship. Because everything in today's world is automated. And see,
Hmm.
your idea as to become a big business is to become automated, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean you completely lose that human touch with your customer, right? So even if it's like a quick WhatsApp message or a quick call just to confirm their order, they'll feel better. Second thing, what you can do is you build your website in a little bit more professional manner. Because there are certain websites that you go to and you're like, yaar, ye thodi scammy si lag rahi hai, I don't want to buy
Ah.
from them. They have like
Hmm.
uh, weirdly spaced paragraphs, the
Hmm.
English or the Hindi and the descriptions are pretty off. And you want to make
Yes.
sure that you're professional, at least your
Hmm.
checkout experience is seamless, your website loads quickly, the pictures you've put in look pretty good to the customer. So
Hmm.
just giving them that experience first of all, because your website is the first thing that they're seeing, right? That's your
Hmm.
first touch point with them. So you
Right.
want to make sure that your first impression is the best impression for sure. And
Hmm.
after that, of course, you can build in that human experience within your customer journey. And once you do that, you will definitely get like repeat purchases from that particular customer as well.
What are some
Yeah.
mistakes you have seen as a pattern that beginners tend to make when starting out?
Oh, I still make these mistakes sometimes. So I'll tell you. When it comes to e-commerce, and especially as a beginner, when you're trying to find your first hit, like that's essentially what it is. As a beginner,
Hmm.
you're trying to find your first, that ray of hope, that light, that okay, I can do this, and you can only get it when once you make some money with it. That gives you the confidence and the motivation. Just like trading stocks. Once you make your first, profitable trade, you'll be like, oh, I want to do this now. So it's like
Hmm.
any other business. So the mistakes that people make is that, let's say you start e-commerce tomorrow, you test your first three products, they fail. You test another two products, they fail. You'll be like, यार ये तो काम ही नहीं करता, ये business ही scam है. They give
Ah.
up too quickly, way
Hmm.
too quickly. Because, and that's the mistake that I have made in the past, and like thankfully I, I, call it luck, call it perseverance, I somehow made it to the other side, where once I found something that worked, then I was like, okay, this works.
Hmm.
So most of the time I feel that people just quit too early, and sometimes people that just don't dive deep enough. Once
Hmm.
you start learning about something, especially in this business, you're not just learning one thing, you're learning like five different things at the same time. You're learning how to find good products, you're learning how to build a good website, you're learning how to run ads profitably, you're learning how to ship the orders to your customers properly, you're learning a little bit of graphic design, क्योंकि एक logo बनाना है अपनी website के लिए, थोड़ी सी
Ah.
आप वीडियो एडिटिंग सीखोगे अगर अपने एड्स एडिट करने हैं. You're
Hmm.
learning so much at the same time, and people expect results like this, instant gratification. People
Correct.
want that, and good businesses don't work like that. It's
Hmm.
it's a simple fact of life. So
Hmm.
if you're starting out today, I would say just give yourself 6 months, like not even a year, just give yourself 6 months. Just tell
Hmm.
yourself that
Okay.
even if I fail within these 6 months, it's okay. Because
Hmm.
I can tell you this one thing, there was a point in my journey where I was like completely failing. I was losing money left, right, and center. So I stopped. I was like, okay, I need to stop. I need to take a break. But since I had learned all of these skills, I started freelancing for other people and started making money from that. So once you start learning about this business, you're learning so many different skills that even if you don't end up in e-commerce tomorrow, you'll have learned so many different skills that you'll never be at a point where you will say to yourself, I don't know how to make money. You'll
Hmm.
just have so many
Correct.
skills that you can just sell as a service.
Hmm.
So that's what I would say. Don't give up way too quickly. There's a lot to learn, and allow yourself the breathing room to like at least learn it. You're expecting way too much of yourself very quickly. That's not how it works. You need to give yourself time and the effort.
अभी यू मेंशन कि यू वर लूजिंग मनी, तो मेरा अगला सवाल भी यही था
Yeah.
कि हैव यू लॉस्ट एनी मनी विद एनी पर्टिकुलर
Lots.
प्रोडक्ट एंड इफ ओके
Lot.
वाओ.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that ties back into the question that you asked earlier, that what are some mistakes that people make. The second most common mistake I'll tell you what people make is, once they find that one product that makes them money, that's their winning product, right? That's their hero product, they get emotionally attached to it. And I get it. It's normal to get emotionally attached to your brand, to your product, and you've invested so much into it. But what happens is, when you're losing money, you have the heart in your business, and you're like, no, I know that I can turn this around, I know that this will make money again for me. And that's where you actually lose the most amount of money, when the numbers are telling you that you're losing money, but your heart keeps saying, no, no, I want to keep going. People don't know how to separate the heart from the logic. Like, that's the mistake that a lot of people make, and that's the mistake I made the most. That's the one mistake I've made the most, that made me lose so much money. Because I tried to keep selling a product that the market was telling me that, bro, it's over, stop, we don't want it anymore.
राइट.
I had sold as much, because every product has a ceiling. Not every product can be scaled to $1 million. Not every
करेक्ट.
product will make you 10 CR. There are caps. Like, there is only a certain number of people who'd want a particular product, right? हम if you're selling a mic to content creators, भाई content creator ही खरीद सकते हैं ना, तुम सबको तो नहीं बेच सकते हो mic, right?
करेक्ट.
So you need to understand that you've exhausted the market. Sometimes it's good to give up. Like, that's what I mean to say. Not give up on the business, but give up on projects. Find something new. There's millions of products that you can sell. So yeah, that's definitely, I've lost a lot of money just trying to revive something when it's already dead. I'm giving it CPR when its heart stopped breathing. So like,
Right.
that's the mistake I would say a lot of people make as well.
Coming back to our roadmap, now that I have
Yeah.
identified a product, a supplier, and figured out
Yeah.
my ads, now how
Yeah.
can I ship the product to the customer?
Right. So see, shipping is done through shipping aggregators in India. So you might have heard of Shiprocket, Nimbus Post. You don't like. Of course, there are courier partners like Delivery, Blue Dart, and like Express Bees and this. So you don't directly tie up with them. You tie up. You essentially use these softwares called shipping aggregators like Shiprocket. Like that's the one
Hmm.
that I use. So what they do is they have tie-ups with all of these courier partners, right? So
Hmm.
what you do is you essentially just make an account, and once again you will link it to your Shopify account. So whenever you get an order in your Shopify account through your ads, it automatically gets fetched into their system in ShipRocket. So then what
Hmm.
you can do is you just click on one button that ship this order. Now you can ship it through your own warehouse, you can ship it through your supplier's warehouse, or you can ship it through
Okay.
ShipRocket's own warehouse, right?
Hmm.
So I don't prefer keeping the inventory to myself in my warehouse. I don't even have a warehouse. So like I don't want to have the headache of packaging and shipping and this, and I don't want to do
Right.
that. So
Right.
I tell my supplier that, hey, I am buying 5 cartons of this product from you, but
Hmm.
the shipping you will handle. You will handle all the packaging. I'll pay you for the packaging. I'll pay you for your labor cost, but you do all of that. I don't want that headache. So I'll go into ShipRocket. And again, in our community, we have this whole training regarding this. And the easiest way is that you add your supplier's warehouse's address in your ShipRocket account. Okay. So
Hmm.
you
Okay.
tell ShipRocket that, hey, you go to this address to pick up this order. And once you do that, you send the shipping labels to your supplier. He packages the product, pastes the shipping labels on it. ShipRocket sends a guy to my supplier's warehouse. They pick up the product, deliver it to the customer. ShipRocket collects the COD amount and deposits it into my bank account. Simple.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's pretty straightforward like that.
And how do you deal with returns if there are any?
So if let's say a customer returns the product, then you have
Yeah.
a return option within ShipRocket itself. You go there and you just click a button, and the person will go to the customer's house, pick up the product, deliver it to my supplier's warehouse. Simple, just
Hmm.
reverse
Okay.
shipping.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very,
Awesome.
very, very straightforward. Like shipping is very
Hmm.
streamlined in India. You
Hmm.
can pretty much
Okay.
send anything from anywhere to anywhere
Hmm.
within 7 days maximum, anywhere in India.
Hmm.
So it's pretty
Okay.
good.
So Tushar, with your course, have you
Mm.
seen certain average people like housewives or students enrolling? And if you can
Yeah,
share a case study of like keeping them
absolutely.
anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you. So I mean, I've posted about them on my page, so they're not anonymous
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about this guy. His name is Syed, and
Hmm.
he's one of my initial students. Like
Hmm.
we launched the course in July, and I think he joined in July itself. And within like 3 months, he had done 1.1 CR in sales, and
Okay.
like he was into ecom before, but I think he got a lot more direction in that sense, where like
Hmm.
how these little tidbits work. How does shipping work? How do I actually scale my ads? How do I build the kind of creators that will sell? So again, he was a student doing this as a side hustle, and now like once he made that amount, of course now he's into it full time.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
another guy in our community. His name is Ansh. He ended
Hmm.
up doing I think $100,000 in the US within like 1 month after
Wow.
joining the community. So like people just average people just starting out making like loads of money quickly. And again, it's rare. I'm not saying that everyone will make that amount of money very quickly. I'm obviously
Correct.
telling you my best hits. But there are also people who've literally just started out, and on like the third day they've made 80,000 rupees in sales. And like like something that they've never even imagined. Like for me personally, like when I started out, I used to have like a salary of like 30,000 rupees a month, and after a point I was making 30,000 rupees a day. And I was like, what the hell is happening? How do I even process this? So like for me, I come from a very like normal, humble, modest background. And again, it was such a switch in my mind that what the hell, this kind of stuff is also possible. Like this
Hmm.
is how people are like literally sort of escaping the matrix, becoming millionaires overnight. Like what's happening? And that's how people are doing it. It's
Hmm.
pretty crazy.
Is it possible to make a crore a month?
I mean, see, in revenue, absolutely. It's not
Hmm.
difficult at all.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So I'm actually running a case study on my Instagram where I'm posting updates every day of a project where we did 60 lakhs in 30 days. Right. So I'm
Okay.
literally posting live updates on how we did that, what decisions I made. So, anybody listening to this can always go
Hmm.
and check. So,
Hmm.
a crore a month. Okay. If you think about it, a crore a month is essentially like 3 lakhs a day, you know
Hmm.
and 3 lakhs a day is not very hard with e-commerce, especially in India, because in India getting
Okay.
the orders is actually the easy part. It's not the hard part. In
Okay.
If you run your ads in the US, it's a very competitive market. It's an expensive market to advertise in. But India
Hmm.
is super cheap. It's huge, and right now it's on that uptrend of e-commerce. With
Hmm.
like shows like Shark Tank and all coming in,
Ah.
people like the entrepreneurial community is seeing like an uptrend right now.
Hmm.
Businesses, people are starting more and more businesses.
Hmm.
Consumers are buying from businesses who are not just on
Hmm.
Amazon, going
Correct.
directly to their website. So that whole
Correct.
mentality, that whole mental shift is just going
Hmm.
up and up and up right now.
Hmm.
So definitely, like doing 3 lakhs a day in sales, it's pretty normal. It's not very very difficult at all.
Hmm. In the case studies you mentioned, so what have
Hmm.
you seen like the students performing really well are some key
Hmm.
differentiators, or it's just a case of luck?
Definitely. No, it's not luck. It's not luck. I will say, see, luck, what I like to think of it as that everything will involve some sort of luck in your
Hmm.
life, right?
Correct.
Especially in business.
Hmm.
Your whole job is to increase the probability of that luck.
Hmm.
Like that's what you can do by putting in the
Right.
work. Now,
Hmm.
the key differentiators between these students and somebody who's still working on it is that, so we host weekly live calls, on
Hmm.
Wednesday, so where people can ask me questions directly and clarify their doubts.
Hmm.
These guys would show up on every single call,
Hmm.
stay till like 3 hours till the call is not finished, not just ask their questions but listen to everyone else's questions and me answering everyone else's questions,
Hmm.
taking down notes, literally coming with lists of questions in the next call. Like they are clearly putting in the work. Like that's
Right.
the key differentiator. Like if you're somebody who's working 2 hours a day on your business, and if there's somebody working 8 hours a day on their business, I'm sorry, they're just 4 times ahead than you. Like it's just a
Right.
simple fact. Like you can't
Hmm.
fight that fact. And this was the key thing that I noticed, that these guys, they were just going at it, man. Like they were not stopping. They would ask questions, like, and they would not be afraid to ask stupid basic questions as well. That's a key
Right.
different. Like people think that, like even today, like I go to YouTube and I'm still finding out if there's something new to learn or not, because
Hmm.
it's just the
Right.
kind of industry where things change like this on a daily basis.
Correct.
So the key differentiators that I saw in these, like crazy students, was that their work ethic was just, they just wanted to make it happen. They did not have any other option. Like they're
Hmm.
like, hame karna hi karna hai, and they did it. It's pretty crazy.
Right. Awesome. Finally, Tushar, like
Yeah.
to sum this entire 1 hour conversation, can you like tell the audience a short summary of what we have discussed and from your experience, what you have seen
Hmm.
works well for e-commerce in India?
Right. Right. See, first things first, I want to start with some sort of just mental shifts before you get into the technical stuff, right? Your head needs to be in the right place.
Hmm.
First of all, you need to have some sort of belief that this works, because I see a lot of skepticism from people who have not
Correct.
even tried it.
Correct.
They've not tried it and they feel like, यार ये तो ऐसी कोई बता रहा है, ये तो इनको तो कोर्स बेचना है अपना, ये तो
Huh.
कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स हैं. Like I face that and I hear that on a daily basis. Even after posting, like students' results and success stories, people still don't believe it. They're skeptical. And that's a reflection of your own insecurities, I feel like. So get your head in the right place, become a believer, believe that this is possible, that a change in your life like this is actually possible. 1 year of your life dedicated to this will turn it upside down. Then, when it comes to technical stuff, what works is very very clearly, your product is king. If you don't sell something that the market doesn't, that the market wants, you will not make money. You have to sell something that the market wants. Simple as that. You can't sell something that the market doesn't want, right? First things first. Second, learn the advertising skill. The advertising skill takes time to master. It's like playing a game. It's like learning how to swim. It's like learning how to walk. You will fall, you'll scrape your knee, you'll bust your head a few times. It will happen. Just make sure that you keep getting up and keep doing it again and again. And third thing, be prepared to lose some money. And again, I say lose some money, but it's more like an investment. Think of it like you paying to learn something. How much have we spent on our school fees and college fees, and how much of it are you using today? If you think about it like that, it's literally just investing money. It's in just like anything else. You're trying to learn something from scratch. It's bound to have a few failures, right, and some setbacks. So that. Fourth, I would say, once you are done with the advertising part of it, shipping and customer experience are huge technical games that you need to master in order to run a good business in especially India, because we're in a cash on delivery market. Things work differently here, you know because you're not getting the money up front. You got to deliver first, then you get the money, right? So make sure that your operations are strong. You read as much as you can, watch any YouTube videos from successful people who've already done e-commerce, and they'll tell you this, that operations is the name of the game. You can learn, see, advertising, तुम 24 घंटे भी अपने लैपटॉप पे बैठ के ना एडवर्टाइजिंग सीख सकते हो. इट्स जस्ट यू एंड अ स्क्रीन एंड सम कीज एंड सम बटन्स, राइट? बट operations is a personal game. You need a team, you need people you can trust, you need good suppliers, you need good quality products. That is a bigger game that you need to learn at the end of the day, right? Lastly, understand that while of course operations is great, your operations won't matter unless you have the orders, and that comes through marketing. Marketing is the core of any single business, right? So if you want to grow a business, dive deep into marketing, keep learning every single day, try to sell products that people want. That I'll keep coming back to that, because I might have like tried to sell at least like 3,000 different kinds of products in the last 6 years, testing like 10, 10, 20, 20 products a day. And after a point you start seeing patterns of like success, that okay, like now if earlier if I started to sell 10 products, I might only get one of them to hit, but now I can get one of five to hit, because my brain knows the kind of patterns that the market will respond to, and I'll see the initial data in some ads and figure out, okay, this can work. So train your brain, and you can only train your brain by doing it over and over and over. And of course, lastly, like I said, before 6 months, do not quit, please. That's it.